So off the rip, I agree that. So this is something that the left gets wrong. I think this is why people aren't respectful to you, because it's one thing to say, "Hey, I think we should curb the amount of immigration we have into the U.S." Okay, that's a respectable opinion. You can have that. That can be argued. Well, saying that if this is bad, I'll stop watching it halfway through. This has not a lot of views, but neither do I. So there's no shame. Okay, have to be zen. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. I'll be okay. I won't yell like I did for the Benny Johnson reaction. I'll be okay. Nice and level-headed. I'll be really close to the mic. ASMR. No, I'm kidding. Okay. No. Okay.
As long as you're a good person, you're welcome here on my channel. People are just voting for what makes sense for their lives and their situations. I'm Billy Carney, I'm a gay man, and I voted for Donald Trump in 2024, 2020, and I would have in 2016, but I was out of the state and I couldn't, but I did spiritually. I grew up with Republican parents, family, so yes, that may have had a big impact on my thought process and decisions, but I do have my own mind and just kind of painting the scene for you guys. Recently, I've been dabbling with different YouTube niches, communities, and realistically, if they knew my beliefs, they'd never accept me. So I just want it all out there so people can accept me from the jump, or not, and that goes with everything and anything. So here I am, I guess, making my own community of Slayers, Vampire Slayers, Slayer Tech, Buffy fan. First off, I accept anyone that is a good person, but something so important about this video and my content moving forward is I'm really doing this on the behalf of other gay people in my situation that feel so silenced by the left, even though in the same breath they preach equality and acceptance. Also, I just want to top this video off with the only problems I've had in my life with people have been with gay men. Like, a lot of people ask me like, but you're part of the gay community. I've only had bad experiences with gays, and there are a few that I've had good experiences with, but the majority, no. So finally I decided
Okay. So off the rip, I agree that. So this is something that the left gets wrong. I think Donald Trump is not particularly anti-gay. He hasn't really done anything that crazy that was anti-gay. Like gay specifically. Like, he hasn't done really anything to attack gay men, gay women. Did a lot of shit to attack trans people, but gay people in particular, Donald Trump was not that bad with. The worst thing that I think he did against gay people is appoint Mike Pence to be his vice president. So, a lot of gay guys feel isolated because they're told that this guy is like a hyper homophobe that hates gay people, and he really isn't. I really don't think that Donald Trump cares that much about gay people. But I guess the problem is that that's not a justifiable reason to vote for Donald Trump. When you say that the left could isolates you as a gay guy, pigeonholes you into voting for the Democratic Party because you're a gay man, so I'm gonna go vote for the Republicans. Well, you're not really being a free thinker by doing that. You're just voting for the Republicans because you are opposed to the Democrats. You're not, which is fine to its own extent, but you're voting against the party. You voting against the Democratic Party, you're not voting against them because they're so bad. You're doing it because you don't like the way they market themselves. That's not a valid reason to vote for Donald Trump, I don't think, unless you think that the Democrats pandering to Donald Trump is such an existential threat to the country that you have to vote for the Republican just to keep the Democrats out of office, maybe. But I think that could be a theoretically justifiable but you're a long way from being able to justify that, I think.
to make this video because I can go another 4+ years not being able to talk about the things that I believe in. Not becoming a politician or anything, I just don't want to hide or feel uncomfortable to post things here on my social media. Follow me on Instagram, Billy Carney, XO. Before I get into everything, perhaps the core of this video is, do you understand that I'm afraid to be myself? Afraid to completely be myself, to the point where I have to make this video. Do you think that's okay? Isn't that against everything gays are for, liberals, and just trying to make it make sense to me, and it doesn't. I just can't be worried anymore about what's behind me in my video, seeing the Trump flag in my backyard, like the amount of cropping I had to do because of this. It's just bonkers. Worried if you guys see the painted American flag on my garage and being like, oh my god, are they gonna like know because I have an American flag that like I'm for Trump? Which actually brings me to one of the craziest things, where if a gay person puts an American flag emoji in their bio, that is to say that they're moderate, maybe independent, Trump Republican, for putting the American flag in our bio, our country's flag. Also, I consider myself more independent, moderate.
Okay, so I agree with that part. I think the way that Democrats and further left people, my foot is fucking so asleep. I think the way that Democrats and far left people, more so far left people, treat our American flag as bad. That's why when I was doing the TikTok lives, I have the American flag and a couple eagles in my username, because I don't think that Republicans should be the ones flying the flag, because right now the Trump Republicans don't love the country. I firmly believe that. I agree that it's the way that liberals in general treat the American flag is a little cringe. I don't really love it, just because you should be proud of your country. This is a good country to be proud of. The problem is that, like I said, the person that this person is voting for is also against the American flag. Even if he doesn't say it, all of his actions are explicitly anti-American.
Leaning Republican. I think anyone that's too far gone right or left are just weirdos. Like, how do you have no room in your mind to dabble or just have your own personality in there somewhere? Liberal in the sheets, conservative in the streets. By the way, I live in my parents' house. That's them putting up the flag, them doing the garage. Maybe now that Trump is president, I can get just a smidge closer to being able to afford my own house, but I digress. Technically, I have talked about a bunch of this stuff in my Sweet Villain series podcast that I ended up cutting short because it just wasn't me. I was like I was in my villain era and I was kind of playing the sweet villain character. Moving forward, like I'm just me here. I thought I'd be actually more nervous making this video, but I'm pretty chill. Like, this is who I am. I do have more of a personality than this, but this is just a lot. And I've always been myself on the internet to a T. I just haven't shared this part of me. It's just gotten to the point now where the world is so different and it's just unavoidable, in my opinion, to not bring this up for all these points that I'm making and going to continue making. So what's probably held me back the most about making a video like this is I'm such a fan of people I love and stan hard. Celebrities, influencers, like I'm so inspired by these people. And it deeply hurts my soul that they would never accept me if they found out the truth. And it's just really upsetting that the world is like that. Like, being that 90...
A quick criticism of this video so far is that we haven't really gotten... So we've gotten... Isn't it bad that I may be persecuted if I come out and say how I feel? Or... It's similar to the one guy that I talked to on the day after the election, where he was talking about, like, yeah, my friends stopped being friends with me because I like had a political disagreement with them. That sounds good. Like, it sounds like a bad thing. Like, everyone can agree that that's not good, that everyone should be in a position to where they can express their opinion. But the problem is that a lot of people mask opinions or mask facts as opinions. So, for example, when I was talking to that one guy, he said, oh yeah, my friends dropped me for political disagreements. And that turned out that what he was doing is he was like citing misleading statistics to say that women are mentally ill. It's like, okay, that makes a lot more sense, you know? So, I guess the problem is, in being a Trump supporter, unless you say otherwise, you probably believe a certain set of things. He hasn't gone into what specific things he agrees with Trump on. That's the problem, is that I don't think anybody's going to castigate you for being a Trump supporter per se, but they're going to castigate you for all of the insane shit that you're probably going to believe by extension of being a Trump supporter.
9%, it feels like, are Democratic liberals. Again, these are people that preach equality unless you don't agree with every syllable that they say. It's beyond, and it's also mind-blowing that, again, basically every celebrity is Democratic. Like, do you not see that they all have the same brain? Like, they're all just a herd. No mind of their own, just followers, sheep. But
Yeah, okay. I took this talking point, so crucify me if you want. The problem is that right now you haven't listed anything that drew you to Donald Trump. So you saying, well, all of these celebrities don't have a brain, they're just sheeple. So I'm going to go to the guy that isn't the Democratic Party. Well, you're not. That doesn't make you not a sheep. You're just a sheep of the opposite herd. You being contrarian about every single thing isn't free thinking. You going explicitly going for the opposite thing of this particular person doesn't make you a free thinker. It makes you. You're still taking your opinions from that person. You're just doing the exact opposite of what he's doing rather than doing the exact same as what he's doing. And so far, through we're 5 minutes through, this guy's not a politician or like a super hyper political guy, so I don't expect to hear like his particular grasp on the legality of the Eastman plot or whatever. But I expect to hear like anything. Hopefully, within the next 15 minutes we can, but I'm going to speed it up a little bit. It's already sped up. Never mind.
I'm so happy that the celebrity influence is dead. I mean, the Queen, Taylor Swift, endorsed Harris. The girl wins everything. And even this didn't work. Every other big celebrity, the same thing. And it didn't work. That's just what is projected to us, like on the internet, because they all run it. And it's just really the bigger picture. When you zoom out, they don't run the world. And I'm not even against like them promoting it. People like say that isn't fair, but then that would mean it wasn't fair for us to do this or for me to even make this video. And if I could pick a way, I wouldn't, but with everyone coming forward and opening their mouth and these celebrities doing it, it's not really a choice. It's unavoidable. Now, I have a couple stories that recently happened to share with you since I've posted my support in this situation on my Instagram for the very first time. I have two kind of cool stories and one not so cool. In the vein of me being afraid to speak up and tell my truth, there's this podcaster that inspired me so much to just start a podcast. I started multiple, embracing stan culture, and which has been a problem in this situation too, as I explained, but for me mentally, and just how creative and smart he is. And he followed me a couple of years ago, and it literally meant so much to me because I've said this in the past, even in a video in my past podcast, he comes off very selective. For the fact that he followed me, I felt like, wow, like I'm doing something, which I should have known that or whatever. But also in the back of my mind, even then, I was like, if he knew, he would have never done that. Not that I sit like looking at my story views, that's so 2014, but I post this for the first time, so I was being extra and wanted to see who would unfollow me. And he's never looked at my story, but of course he saw this one, and I'm glad he did. I clicked on him and I saw he unfollowed me, and I was like, damn. I realized that he blocked and unblocked me, and I was like, literally got it. So upset. I have supported his Patreon since it started. I've listened to every episode of his shows, his past show, and I just been such a good supporter. I've DM'd him so much love over the years and support. I actually sent him a message of just how I feel, how he's really inspired me, and this is gonna suck that I have to stop listening to the show moving forward because I have to have respect for myself, like, you know. He actually responded, said he's just hurt, and he followed me back. Again, that meant so much, especially in the moment. Now I'm like, is it just like a pity follow back? I hate that it even had to happen this way, but all respect to him for doing it back because I am open-minded. I am understanding. I do get it. I get it. So that just, again, meant a lot to me, and I'm going to continue to support him because that's just who I am. I followed him back, and hopefully, I don't know. I feel it might get to a point where he unfollowed me again. I don't know. At that point, then we're just not meant to be, I suppose. So that was a good one. Okay, and then on the topic of the double standard and a not so good one, I posted this on my story after the fact of the
elections will come and go. Don't let politics ruin your relationships. One of the truest signs of maturity is being able to disagree with someone while remaining respectful.
The last story. I've got a lot of support, like a lot of likes. I got a lot of support in general. And
okay. The opinion on that is, I think it's weird to force relationships in the first place. So setting boundaries is up to the people in the relationship. Why would I feel some need to like force myself to maintain a relationship with someone who I think is destroying the country? Like, if someone, I like to take it to the extreme, if someone was a member of the KKK and I just found out, I'm not going to say, well, I mean, I can't let politics ruin my relationship. I'm going to say, no, fuck you. This is insane. And we're not friends anymore. I don't know for sure, but like if one of my close friends came out as a Trump supporter, especially with how political I am, I'd probably be like, hey, this relationship won't work if that is the case. And I think that's fine because in relationships, like, you set the boundaries. You and the person set the boundaries. If that's a boundary you're not comfortable with, you don't want to be friends with that guy anyway. That's just, that relationship's not going to work. Now when it comes to family, it's a lot more complicated because of like certain, biological factors and like family parties and shit. But it's hard for me to say don't let politics get in the way of your relationships if you're like a Haitian migrant, or if you're like a trans person, or if you're like a child to an immigrant. Like when Donald Trump wants to end birthright citizenship, when he spread the lies about the Haitian immigrants, when he tried to ban trans people from the military, it's hard for me to tell them, oh well, just ignore that, even though the person that you think is your friend is coming out and supporting the person who supports actually taking your rights away, or like actually, like is actively spreading disinformation about you. It's a slippery slope, and I think that conservatives treat it like it's too black and white, to where politics shouldn't be the consideration at all times in your life, but it also shouldn't, like, we need to stop acting like politics is nothing. Like, the way that you want the country to go in, especially if it concerns other people's rights, is like a nothing statement.
This white woman who I went to college with swiped up and wrote nope. I was like, to each their own. I just don't have that kind of hate in my heart. Like, people are voting for what they believe in, for what makes sense in their life. And she just wrote, as a gay man, she's disappointed, and not saying.
Also, when someone says, I'm just voting for what's right in my life, you're kind of not. You are voting for more than just what is right for your life. You are also voting for what you think is right for other people's lives. The head of the country, like the president, especially a president like Donald Trump, who wants to expand the power of the presidency, it is very consequential for certain people's lives. So for you to say that, oh, well, I'm just voting for what's right in my life, when what's right in your life is a tax break, and you are disregarding an immigrant who is born here, who is born to illegal immigrants who may get their birthright citizenship revoked, like, or it's an immigrant here who, or an illegal immigrant here who may have a kid and they won't be birthright citizen. Like, politics goes deeper than just your beliefs, and voting for the president is for more than just what affects you. There's also millions of other people that the president will directly affect.
You have to hate anyone. Like, yeah, okay, girl. And she said, if you voted for him, respectfully unfollow me. And this girl has healing artist in her bio. She's a healer. Blah, 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 what she said. Regardless of who you are and what you voted for, it's weak to take the stance of indifference. Which, like, who are you to tell me what I believe is weak? Like, it's just... So I said, it's clear to me you're coming from a place of hate, which is fine. Like I said, I don't have it in me. It's your opinion. You see it that way. Cool. Continue to divide the country and stay closed-minded. My post is about community as a whole.
Okay. I really don't like this. We can't pretend like the Republicans are not the party of division. It's the thing that I also pointed out, where it's saying a hyper disrespectful thing in a really calm voice is not respectful. You saying, listen, it's just my opinion that the Haitian migrants are here illegally and they're eating all of the people's cats and dogs. Like, stop being divisive and saying that I can't hold my opinions. It's like, no. You said that in a very clear, like, you didn't raise your voice. You said that in a respectful tone, but that doesn't mean that the content of your statement was respectful. That is a hyper disrespect. Like, making a stereotype about a bunch of legal immigrants being here, being actually illegal, and fucking abducting people's cats and dogs and eating them on the street. That is not... You cannot pretend like the person that you voted for, you are respectful for voting for someone who went on a debate stage, one of the biggest stages that you can possibly go on, and spread misinformation like that. You can't pretend like you're being respectful by condoning that behavior.
To bring people together. So selfish, stay healed. And of course she blocked me. Didn't respond. I was done with her anyways. And I wouldn't have unfollowed her if she didn't, because it would go against what the post said. So that was that. And I really, really liked her. She starred in my thesis project. It's sad to see the closed-mindedness. It's really disappointing, honestly. I reposted that. I blocked her information and I reposted that to my story. And I was like, kindly unfollow me. If you can't respect other people's decisions, America is so great because we get to make our own. And one of the likes, I got a lot of likes and a lot of comments. Nothing bad on that one, actually. I think a few unfollowed, of course. One of them, who I followed on YouTube, who's kind of like me a lot, and he's one of the people that inspired me, like the podcaster, so much that it would really hurt if he unfollowed me on social media. And I'm not going to say his name because I want to respect him, obviously. I feel like he could be watching this, and I'm assuming he would know that I'm talking about him. But he's someone that I always had anticipation to him unfollowing me. So the fact that he liked that story repost meant so much to me, and maybe even, like, inspired me to post this. Whether he now unfollows me, I guess, because I still don't know. Like, I didn't talk to him about this. Like, he just liked my story. Honestly, I'm really sad for myself for having this mindset, hoping that he doesn't unfollow me because I just want to be cool with him. Like, it's so shitty. It really is. But that meant a lot to me. Thank you so much if you are watching this, and I hope we'll be cool forever. I love you. Always wanted to be cooler with you, but I'll take what I can get. Okay, maybe this is the most interesting example. Someone swiped up respectfully and genuinely wondering why I voted for Trump. We discussed it was not in a hateful way on either side, and it ended with him saying that he doesn't think I'm a bad person. And that really meant a lot as well. And it showed that two sides can communicate. And I know from what I said, he understood where I was coming from. I mean, if you have a brain. And then he did kind of stump me, and he asked, I want to bring this up because I know this is going to be a major probably thing that people would comment if I didn't bring this up in this video. But he did make interesting points to me that I never did my research on. With my response, like, I felt like I could have had a better response, so I'm like, let me do my research. I asked actually a gay for Trump guy that I follow because I always agree with his takes. And he made me realize to research the actual woman who accused him of the sexual assault. And I did. And apparently she has a history of fake allegations. And to me, from the interview, she came off like a whack job and said that rape is sexy. Trump denied it all. The court system is corrupt too on top.
Okay. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay. I don't know why you would do a deep dive on this woman's background when the judge ruled that he was civilly liable for it. Don't have a bunch of reasons about why she's a whack job or whatever. Just say that the courts are corrupt. Like, that's a conversation killer.
Top of it, and all hate him. So it's just really hard to even know the truth about anything. And really now it dwindles down to one or the other. And I never thought that Biden or Harris were suited to.
Well, okay, no. What it's coming down to is the American institutions. I don't know how you claim to be a patriot when you can't respect any of the American institutions, and you think that the courts are all, like, rigged against Donald Trump, even though it was, 4 separate courts that ruled against him, plus because of all of his civil liability with all of his workers in the 90s, and so many courts have ruled against Donald Trump. Even more courts have ruled against his allies. I don't know why we would pretend like all of these independent courts are so corrupt that they could never, like, that doesn't make sense, first of all. Second of all, it's a matter of American institution versus Donald Trump. It's not a matter of Democrats, Republicans. It's not even a matter of Harris versus Donald Trump. It's genuinely about, it's a matter of America or Donald Trump. And, you know, it's a little telling. I realize that not everybody has the time to read indictments like I do, but it's a little telling that you say, okay, I have to go and do my own research about this, and then you reach out to a gays for Trump guy. That's not doing research. That's confirmation bias.
To help this country, and they didn't. They made it even worse. Trump is already getting things done in the first week before even becoming president. I'll put up here.
Okay. That's the, okay.
Like the Hamas. Oh, it was in 48 hours.
Call with Putin to end the Ukraine war hasn't happened. Hamas calls for immediate end to war. They've been doing that. Ceasefire in Iran, where China hopes for peaceful coexistence. They already do. None of this is new. Okay, whatever.
Putin with Russia out?
Also,
what?
That was absolutely stolen from Instagram. I guarantee it.
I don't understand why he's so hated on. Next is the topic of abortion, and then I'm gonna talk about why I voted for Trump, and then we're gonna outro this bitch.
Cool, sweet.
But on the topic of
That's what I
abortion,
was looking for.
so the kid that DM'd me that was respectfully on the side of Harris also brought up the abortion stuff and how like Trump is pro-life, and of course these people love to talk in extremes. So in the case of being pro-life means that in the case of like you'd still have to keep the baby. If I had to pick one, me myself personally is pro-life because at the end of the day,
So this was a problem with Republican messaging on Donald Trump as well. His stance on abortion wasn't that crazy. Sending it back to the states I think is stupid, of course. Him refusing to answer whether or not he would veto a national abortion ban was really bad. But realistically, he supports the exceptions. He does support exceptions in the case of incest. He does support exceptions in the case of rape. Now, I think that that is wholly inconsistent within conservative morality, but optic-wise, Trump's position on abortion really isn't that bad. At least a lot of the gotchas that they were using to attack Trump on, that were not applicable to Donald Trump because he didn't... I truly don't think he believed that. I still think that Trump's opinion on abortion was wholly inconsistent and that he was doing everything he could to not give a straight answer about it. But whenever you bring up like abortions in case of rape, Donald Trump already supports that. So I don't know why you would use that as a gotcha to vote for Harris when Donald Trump has already said multiple times that he supports that.
you are killing a baby. Since you guys love to talk into extremes, do you not think it's disgusting that you can terminate a baby 6 to 9 months of carrying it? To me, like, it goes without
He heard
saying.
that from Trump.
Of course, in
He
the
didn't-
case of rape,
Yeah.
incest, you should be able to get an abortion. And the ones that aren't for that are the weirdo middle Americans that I don't agree with. Yeah, they're Republicans, I guess, but I have a brain. And of course, Donald Trump isn't for that either. I don't know if he's like put that on the record, but he's a fucking kid. Incest. She's having the kid. Of course, he would look stupid to say it's not that simple, but also realistically, they can go to a life. I do think it's important to install some type of fear or time frame so that these gross people
Some
aren't
type
using
of
it as like an after
fear.
pill. That baby has a heartbeat and you're
crazy.
taking away its chance out. He clearly loves America. Getting rid of the immigrants, putting up the wall, that's another thing I just can't understand. Like, you guys are okay with these murderers and stuff just like coming in, diseases,
Okay.
killing people, eating
Yeah,
the dogs.
this is why people aren't respectful to you, because it's one thing to say, hey, I think we should curb the amount of immigration we have into the U.S. Okay, that's a respectable opinion. You can have that. That can be argued well. Saying that Mexican immigrants are rapists and murderers and that it's incomprehensible that the left wants to bring those people in, that's where we're like, okay, are you really having a respectful conversation right now? Probably not. Like, that's not a respectful... Like, it doesn't matter what tone of voice you say it in. You're not being respectful. Right? Like, I don't know.
And guess what, guys? He is for gay people. He's not against gay people. The gay people are against him. And he's still not going to be against the gay people.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can reach out to this guy. I didn't like that video, by the way. I think that there was a lot of shit that I see in a lot of conservative circles lately that I don't agree with. Mainly the posturing towards respect when it's really truly not there, and they'll say the most disrespectful things that I could even possibly think of, but say it in a really calm tone of voice, so it doesn't seem disrespectful. I think that is a really frustrating thing that has been happening as of late, but